Hi, it's Mel with the Quilting Room with Mel, and I am back with another vintage sewing machine for you today. Today we're talking about the Necchi Supernova Julia. This machine was made in Italy. It's from the 60s. We don't have time to cover all of the features today. The video would be hours long if I went through everything this machine can do. I'll point out all the parts of the machine and then we'll get started. So the thread sits on a pin back behind the machine. It is a dual pin machine. You have your thread guides, your tension assembly. This little button is how you change the needle. This is your needle position. I have it centered, left, or right. These on either side here, if you push in and slide, that allows this lever to move and lock in to the position that you want it. That is your zigzag. Or for the pattern cams, and we'll talk about pattern cams in just a minute. So if you want a straight stitch, push this one in, bring it all the way over to 0. And then I just like to lock it in. This knob here changes the size of your design if you're doing the pattern cams. Your reverse button, of course. Your stitch length in millimeters. So this is going to be more like your modern machine. If you normally sew on a 2mm stitch, you set your knob to 2. It does have halves, which you cannot see on the camera, but it does go to 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4 is the smallest, is the biggest it will go. And of course it will go all the way down to 0. Let me get it set back. This drops your feed dogs, so you can do free motion quilting on this machine, and I do use this one for free motion most of the time. I'll pop those back up. These little switches over here, the one in the front is for your light. Okay. The one in the back is motor speed, minimum and maximum. If you open this up, the light bulb is in here so that you can change it. And you also have your presser foot tension, how tight you want your presser foot to sit on your fabric up here on a little guide. Okay, let's wind a bobbin. The first thing is we have to have a spool of thread on the back, and I already have one back there. And we bring it through the 2 guides on the top. Okay. Now you'll see this little wheel over here. That is our next spot that we need to take the thread through. Okay. Winder. It's actually behind this little door. If we open it up, there's a little lever on the bottom here that when I flip it up, keeps the door open, engages the bobbin winder on the belt of the machine. So our next guide that we need to go through is actually on the door. And then we're ready to put the bobbin on. Okay, here is one of the bobbins. It is a class 15 bobbin. The ones that I have, I was very lucky when I got this machine. I got about 25 Necchi bobbins. It will take the standard metal class 15s that you can find today for the most part. It's a little pickier with those. They're not as machined as precisely as the vintage Neckis, but they sure are more common. It will not wind a plastic bobbin. I have a ton of plastic 15s. It will not wind them. If you do get one of these machines and you're not lucky enough to get the Neckis, you have to have the metal bobbins. We'll look at it here. It's got 2 holes. That is for the thread. And then you'll see this little notch here. There is a little button type thing on the bobbin winder that our bobbin has to lock into so that it sits right. So I am going to, sorry about bumping the camera, I'm going to set this bobbin up and then we'll wind it. So I have my thread here through one of the holes. I'm going to pull the door down. Actually have to disengage it. Okay, have the bobbin slid over. I'm going to grab a hold of this thread, make sure it's tight. So I'm going to find that loose thread again. I'm going to make sure this is over. If it pops out of this eye, don't worry about it. The other thing I forgot, clutch on the side of the wheel. Have to loosen that up or your needle will go up and down. If you have a bobbin in there, you will end up with a bird's nest and you will have to clean that out. Okay. I am not going to wind a whole bobbin. Push the top down now and just slide it right back off and the door closes. Okay, so let's thread it. After we wound our bobbin, we tightened our clutch back up. We still have the thread through the top guides. There we go. Through here, up, and you should hear a little click just like our 301 that we did last week in the tension. Through the eye. There's a little hook here. There we go. Down. And then we have our piggy tail that we have to go through. Okay. Our needle threads left to right. And there we go. Pull it through, pull it to the back. This is the accessories box that if you are lucky enough to get one of these with all the accessories that they came in, and I was lucky enough to get it all. When you open it up, you will see this disc on the back, and I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. This has all of your patterns, decorative stitches that your machine can do. On this side is the pre-made cams, and on this side are the cams that you get to make. So the first thing we are going to do is a pre-made cam, and I can look around and decide which one I want, and I am going to go for this one over here that's scalloped that you see right here, and I need to line it up with this little notch over here. So when I do that, it tells me which pre-made cam I need. It tells me how to set my dials, what stitch needle position I need to be in, and all of that. So let's find the cam. The pre-made cams are on the top. So let me find the one that I want. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, and I'm going handheld here so you can see it, this lever back behind, we have to move it all the way to the left position and then open this door. And there you can see inside where the cam sits. Okay, so the cam goes in that door that we just opened and flips down. And then we move that lever that we moved all the way to the left, we move it all the way to the right. And then we go back to our little card here. And it'll point to what knob you're changing. So the first thing I need to do is change this knob, and it tells me do a 3. Okay. It tells me I need my needle position to the left. It tells me that this lever, or zigzag lever, needs to remain on 0. And then it tells me my stitch length needs to be to the trapezoid. And what's really nice about that is it is a red trapezoid, so I know I'm in the right spot. And now we are ready to sew. Okay, I have my piece of fabric under there, and let's sew. All I have to do is push the feed dog down, and it does the rest. Okay, let's check it out. And there we have our scallop decorative stitch. Okay, let's build a custom cam. So on this side of the dial, you can see we have lots of choices. I have it lined up in my notch. Okay. Up here, in this part, where it told us before that we needed XXV cam or a certain Roman numeral, because that's what the pre-made cams are called, it actually gives us numbers. The bottom number goes down first, middle number second, and the top number goes on top. So I'm going to sit that there. And we build our cams on this little metal piece. And the first cam I need is cam 11. And here's the cam. On one side is 10, on the other side is 11. So I put it down first, and there are notches on the cam. Try to get that where you can see. There's a notch here and a notch here that line up on the metal. Okay. Our next cam is a 0, and a 0 is just a spacer. Put that one down. And the cam that we need on top is cam 31, and that's this one. Okay, 30 on one side, 31 on the other. Okay. And we snap that all down. We have this little washer that we screw on the top to lock it all in. And then we just put it back up here, same place we put the last one. Make sure it snaps down, close the lid, move the lever back to the right. And now we have to check out the rest of our numbers. It tells me that my pattern guide needs to be at 1. It tells me my needle position is still to the left. My zigzag is still at 0, but I need to change my stitch length to a 1.6. So I just move it to a little more than 1.5. Try out the cam that we just built. Whenever you're doing the build your own cams, I highly, highly recommend getting a piece of scrap fabric out and just trying it on there to make sure you have everything set right. So let's do a little sewing and see if we have what we were going for. Our pattern stitch looks pretty close to what we were going for. This is, remember, this is the one that we wanted. That is the section before we started messing with anything. Okay, I returned the machine back to its normal settings of a 1 here. I like to sew with a 2.5mm stitch, so that's what I have it set there. And the needle back to center. So let's just sew up a quilt block. The edge of the presser foot is 1/4 inch with this foot, so I don't have to worry about that. And that's it. Pretty quiet machine. Very versatile machine, as you can see. Join me next week when I cover another vintage sewing machine. Bye, everyone.